Alrighty, hello. What's up, guys? I was just reading Valdor, and I was like, there's some spicy little lore tidbits in here, and I feel like I should share some of them with you. So, let's just get right into it. I was last left off reading about this guy called Achilla. It's Achill, so I'm like Achilla. Dude's a certified FIFO No. So this dude's basically a sellsword, but I mean like mercenary in this. Basically, now that the unification war is like 90% over, and he's talking about his own like POV of the custodies, because he was kind of going place to place, and he's describing how war used to be easy and fun and all that stuff. But then, as the unification war comes to a close, he starts hearing about the emperor, and how the imperiums being built in every little kingdom was essentially just skirmishing with each other because they didn't have enough power to actually conquer. But the emperor does. So obviously he's doing it, and then when he's drafted to this one battle, he sees a custody in action. He says he was moving so fast, and actually I could read it for you because I actually have it out right now. He couldn't even count the number of enemies it had killed. He couldn't even really see how it was doing it. The pace was so fast, the devil wasn't using a gun like anyone sensible, but some kind of electricity-wrapped spear. It was carving through solid stone, slashing through the masonry, as if it weren't there. A rusted old tank was kicked over, and then pulled into the shreds of burning metal. Achilla found himself appalled. The level of naked power was unfair. There was no enjoyment in it. So obviously we're getting the first real look of how people are reacting to the custodies and how this is now the new terrifying power in Terra, So this is, again, getting really interesting. But here's the part that I really was found super interesting that stuck out to me. Then, of course, there was Malcador. Malcador and the Emperor. The Emperor and Malcador. No one knew who had come first. The rumors were legion. Some said that Malcador had been the Emperor's very first gene creation. Others said that there were twins, one gifted power, the other gifted cunning. Others said that Malcador had traveled the earth, collecting shards of a greater whole, and had created the Emperor as a gestalt being of infinite power. Rumors persisted that shamanic rites had been conducted, though by whom, to whom, and with whom was never easy to determine. Many half-worshipped Malcador, many more secretly hated and feared him, and told stories that he whispered lies into the Emperor's ear in order to keep the poor downtrodden and seize riches for himself. With Malcador, the only thing that was certain was that he knew the stories and had a hand in spreading them, and was careful to ensure that they were all false. The essence of Malcador was that he had no essence. He was a shadow, a memory, a pale reflection of the greater soul who walked beside him. His power was colossal in and of itself, was that of deflection and uncertainty. The Emperor would level a mountain with a word of truth. Malcador would erode it over 1,000 years of lies. So we kind of get the whole essence of who Malcador is, but we also, there's some parts to this that really stuck out to me for some reason. So let's go with, he had no essence, he was a shadow, a pale reflection of the greater soul who walked beside him, which is essentially his role in the Imperium. He is, starts the, Assassinorum. He oversees all the espionage and secrecy and lies. It's even said that he has a part in spreading the origins of the Emperor, that he's a shaman reborn from 1,000 shamanic souls before everything, before the Age of Strife and Dark Age, before, when humanity was first walking in Anatolia, when the Emperor was truly originated from, allegedly, we see who he is, and his characterization there is, obviously this is now prevalent, because now we all know who Malcador is, and if you don't, the dude's basically spy master numero uno. He is like Littlefinger and Viserys from Game of Thrones on steroids, pumped up with the best exotic HGH and testosterone you can find on the market. This dude is, if Varys is the spider, this dude is like a mega spider. Dude's got days on days of false, of connections, of how to manipulate info, how to create info. And it was fascinating, in the sense that this is really a really good glimpse into the pre-unification war stuff, and even towards the end of the unification wars. And excuse me, I said it in my last video. The more we learn about the Emperor and Malcador, the less we actually know. And it's funny because these are all popular YouTube theories about I'm sorry, my dog's sneezing, about the Emperor. And it's clarified in here that they're all lies, which, again, and I would just kind of, let's look at this from a meta sense. They all could be lies rooted in truth. Every aspect of this could be true and could equally be false. And that's, oops, sorry I had a low power mode. But if you didn't hear me, I basically just said all of this could be true and false at the same time. Malcador could get bits and pieces of the Emperor's true origins and mishmash it together. So maybe he was a creation of the Emperor. Maybe Malcador was, and then he kept building on from that. There's a lot of theories we could go into, but it's really interesting stuff. And of course, it's super minor, but to me, this really sticks out because, again, at this portion of the novel, the Custodes are new, and the Imperium is still super new. It's basically just established itself as a entity. So there is no Administratum. There's no Adeptus Astartes yet. There's only the Custodes and I think the Thunder Warriors, or we're really nearing the end of the Thunder Warriors, and we're about to be introduced to the Space Marines. So we're getting all these perspectives from a High Lord, Candlewire, who's interviewing Valdor, and she's frightened because he is literally the next step of humanity in a way, and it's so frightening that he could basically destroy enemies with a single swipe of his electric, weapon. It's insane. And then we have, again, Aquila, this mercenary who's seeing them in action for the first time and saying war no longer makes sense because it's so hyper-rational, which is basically the definition of the Imperium. These beings of hyper-rationality have taken all the aspects of war that soldiers are typically used to, which is, killing, getting the money and leaving. Now they're not fighting for money. They're fighting because of an ideal that's ascribed to them genetically that they cannot fight against at this point. Remember, there's no Horus Heresy because there's no Horus yet. These things don't exist. So these are warriors who are not bred to think. They certainly are capable of thought and are informing their own opinions, but they are instilled with this genetic compulsion to see the Emperor's will be done. And so there's nothing that can stop them. And obviously it's shown when they kick over a damn tank and just obliterate people like slicing through paper. So I know, just wanted to drop some little lore tidbits of some Unification War stuff. But guys, seriously, if you haven't picked up Valdor, what are you doing? This is not a daunting book. I'm like 74 pages in. I'm on chapter 7 or 8. Come on, guys. This is an awesome read. This is so worth, it's $10. This is worth it, dude. Really good book. Valdor is sparsely shown up in the book yet, but, when he makes his appearances, he's cool. But, guys, if you want those little lore tidbits of pre-unification stuff and, post-unification, seriously, invest in Valdor. Anyway, that was the video. Watch the whole video. Thank you so much. It's always appreciated. And consider subscribing because I am coming with more in-depth reviews of not just Valdor, this bad boy, but also Gaunt's Ghosts. And once I'm done with Valdor, I think I'm going to order my third and final book that the comments told me to get. So other than that, guys, thank you so much, and I am out of here.